Oh, quiet.
Now, fast forward the day that I saw the Bigfoot. We get in his boat and we're motoring up the river, the Andrewski River, which flows into the Yukon above St. Mary's, Alaska. We went downriver and he pointed up the hill and he says, "What is that?" He whispered, "What is that?" And I said, "That's a big old brown bear." "No, what is that?" And I don't know why he said that, because what else could it be? I was not a believer. He was not a believer in Bigfoot. And then it stood up. When he stood up, he took 2 great big steps and squatted back down and started eating again. And in my mind, as a non-believer, I'm thinking, a bear can't do that. And so I'm wanting the binoculars. He's looking in the best pair of binoculars that he could get up there. And he finally passed me the binoculars, and when I looked, I saw fingers this long with the thumb way back here. And I thought, a bear doesn't have fingers like that. That's a Bigfoot. And I was just stunned. I watched him stand up once before that and then squat back down and start eating salmon berries and blueberries. I could see the hands coming in, but with the naked eye I couldn't tell what it was until I looked through the binoculars. When I said, "That's a Bigfoot," he said, "No, what is it?" Why did he say that? He's been looking for 10 minutes. And so I handed him the binoculars and I said, "Look at the face, look at the fingers." And he's looking for a long time. And then I hear this, "Oh." Now we're both believers. I heard that, but it didn't register until a little later. I'm begging the binoculars back, and he finally gives them to me, and I look at it, and just as I'm looking, it stands up the 3rd time and takes 2 magnificent steps, like this, with the arms way out, and then just squatted back down and started eating with his fingers. And I said, "That's either Bigfoot or Andre the Giant dressed in a Bigfoot costume. It can't be anything else." And when I said it can't be anything else, I quit whispering, raised my voice, and the big guy, that big, beautiful creature, stood up and turned and looked straight at me. I cannot tell you what that did to me. I saw gorilla wrinkles right here. I saw a nose twice as wide as mine. I saw a bare face, a bald forehead with a raised eyebrow ridge right here, no eyebrows. The hair started right on, kind of right up here on towards the top of his head and went all the way to his ankles. The hair started, I think, at his knuckles and went all the way down. I couldn't see hair on the fingers. And he just looked at us. You know, our eyes just locked, and my jaw hit the bottom of the boat. I was just so stunned. I handed the binoculars back to him, and he looked, no, before that, he looked at us for 10 seconds. Yeah, 10 seconds. And then he fell to his knees after taking 2 steps. He found just a little bit of a swale in the tundra. And that tundra, the blueberries and salmonberry bushes, only came up to about 6 inches below my knees. And he dropped to his knees and put his hands up like this and just fell, just kind of a slow, like a tree was falling over, and disappeared from our sight behind those salmonberry and blueberry bushes. And I couldn't believe it, because we were on a river down here and we was looking at the side hill like this, and how he could hide from us was stunning. My son-in-law said, "I can't see him. That's impossible. How come we can't see him?" Because his shoulders were about this wide, and his body was, oh, so muscular, so incredible. Not much of a neck. We could see it from the front, but from the side and the back, you couldn't see it at all. His head was about twice as wide as mine. The eyes were up a little higher than normal human eyes, and they were either solid black or solid black and brown. I'm not sure which. His face was kind of flat, and the hair came into his nose, but his stare, wow. Well, after about 10 seconds, he turned and knelt and laid down, and then we're trading the binoculars back and forth. I'm wanting to see him again so bad my teeth hurt. As he stood up, I'm saying he. At the time, I thought it was a she, because I saw a swaying. And in my mind, I thought, that looks like maybe those old National Geographic movies over in Africa and different places. And so I thought it was a female. And so now I think perhaps it was a male with long hair, but I saw that swaying 3 times. He watches me seeing for 10 seconds, 15, and then he turned and walked maybe 30, 40 feet and hid behind a patch of alder trees about the size of a great big lilac bush. And we couldn't see it at all there. My son-in-law, he was able to see it when it was laying on the tundra. He saw it raise its head up 3 times, and he could only see from the eyes to the top of its head. But now it was behind this alder tree, and we couldn't see it at all. But we knew he could see us. Eventually, after about 10 minutes, it walked out behind those alder trees, and we watched him walk up that tundra hillside. Great big giant steps. He walked up that mountain faster than I could run down. My son-in-law said, "Look at that. No human can walk on the tundra like that." And yeah, I agreed. I've been on the tundra. Yes. And he went over the hill, and the last thing we saw was the top of his head going down the other side of the hill. When he was laying down on the tundra, there was 2 little pine trees not too far from him. I'm a praying man, and I was literally praying to God, "God, please let him walk past those 2 little pine trees so I can see how tall he is." He did. He did. Oh, I was so tickled with that. And I said, "Let's go get the family. We'll show him where he was." I'm thinking, I'm going to get to the bank. I'm going to go after him. Anyway, we get to the shore, and I'm jumping up and down. "We just saw Bigfoot. We just saw Bigfoot." I was diagnosed with melanoma cancer. Can you imagine how I felt at the time? Dear God, thank you. Now back on the boat. The boat's bouncing. Everybody's wondering what that crazy grandpa and dad is doing, jumping up and down on the boat. "We just saw a Bigfoot." My daughter, "No, you didn't." It shocked me, almost made me mad. And I pointed my finger back at her and I said, "Rachel, have I ever lied to you?" I jump off the boat and I says, "Load up, we're gonna go see if we can see Bigfoot." Nobody moved. I wanted evidence. I wanted to find the trail. And when I got up there, so I was way behind everybody else, and my son-in-law found where he laid down, went straight to it, and he was following the trail, and I got up there, and we followed the tracks for quite some distance. But when they're walking on the tundra, they spread their toes way wide, and that surprised me, because I've seen other tracks of other people, and in the mud they don't spread their toes much. And then she started back down, and I says, "No, one more picture. I have to stand next to the tree that he walked past so I will know how tall he was." And so I went and stood in front of the tree and held my hand up like this, and the tree was 2 feet less 2 inches taller than I could reach. And my granddaughter was behind the tree and I was to the side. And that Bigfoot was 6 inches taller than those 2 trees when it walked past. So depending on how far he sunk into the tundra, it was so incredible. 10 feet maybe, 9 to 10 feet I would guess, give or take 6. And we finally turned around and went back to the boat. Most solemn experience of my life, going down that river. Me and God were talking. Thank you, God. I'm diagnosed to die. Thank you for letting me see such an incredible thing and to experience this in the last time of my life. Of course, that was 10 years ago. I am God's miracle.
Oh, go ahead.